Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Welcome to Washington Hebrew Congregation. I'm Rabbi Shankman. I'm joined on the Bima. I'm going to introduce some of the people. You're going to meet some of the others in a few moments. Joined on the Bima by Rabbi Miller, Rabbi Nama Dafni Kellen, who I'll introduce in a moment, Cantor Susan Bortnick, and Jacob Spike Kraus, and Cantor Hamstra. Cantor Bortnick's going to introduce our amazing musicians, but we're going to have a few different introductions over the course of the evening. But we have so many people who are here for a variety of different reasons. We have folks who are here because you're a fifth grader and you're here with your families for a wonderful fifth grade Shabbat. Raise your hands if you're doing that tonight. Oh, and yes, you can woo also. We have folks who are here for our 12 Jewish questions Shabbat and Shabbat dinner, so you can woo too if you're here for that. Woo! We should do waves and different sections. We have folks who are new members who are joining us and being welcomed into the congregation. If you're a new member, you can cheer so we know who you are and others can come and greet you. Woo! They're cheering for you even if you're not cheering quite yet. We have families who are here for B'nai Mitzvah, celebrating Shabbat together. And I know that there's a lot of joy for those families as well. And many of us come here with that sense of joy and enthusiasm. And some of us come here with hearts that are tempered. The joy is a little tempered because we're here to remember our loved ones. And we hold all of you in our hearts. And if you're joining us on the live stream, we are here with you and we feel your presence in our sanctuary as well. There are so many things that bring us together. And we're going to have a chance this evening to hear from a number of different voices, both up on the Bima, but also the voices of those seated around us. So we're going to come back to that in just a few moments.
So helping us to raise our voices even higher, we have Matvey Sigalov on violin, Joey Antico on percussion, and Joel Kelsey on upright bass. And we thank them for being with us this evening.
Beautiful, beautiful. And tonight is about you, us coming together. We have a special guest who I think will be introduced in just a moment, right? Until then, I'm going to spoil this. Introduce, yeah, please.
Okay. So to my right, because our other special guest will be introduced in full, but you'll already know him by then through his voice and his incredible music. But to my right is my dear friend, Rabbi Nama Dafni Kellen, who is one of the rabbis at Or Chadash congregation in Haifa, which some of you know is our sister congregation. We have a twinning program, and we are partners in community and in building community together. So I just want to share a little bit about her. You're going to hear her voice. Some of you have already heard her voice in Torah study, and some of you will have a chance to hear her both this evening and then again tomorrow and on Sunday. Rabbi Nama Dafni Kellen was ordained at HUC and holds a BSW in community organization and an MA in nonprofit management. Over the years, she has filled a number of roles in the Israeli Jewish liberal world. And incredible, so she'll tell you all about it and is happy to connect with you. And if you have questions about Israel, I have a whole bio here. And and just suffice it to say that aside from being a co-rabbi at one of the most exciting and innovative congregations, that is the largest Reform congregation north of Tel Aviv, which is actually saying something in Israel in modern terms today, and has been a rabbi at the Leo Beck Center, and is a co-senior rabbi at Congregation Or Chadash in Haifa. But for our purposes this evening, and you'll hear a little bit of this, her passion is in helping people see the Torah as a meaningful source of inspiration that grounds us in meaning, gives us hope, and encourages us to act. So I know we're going to be inspired by her words this evening and throughout this weekend, and we're so happy to have you here and with us. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we are going to help Rabbi Nama out. Being from Israel, she does not know where to get challah here in Washington, D.C. So how about this? Turn to someone sitting next to you, share your name, share where you were coming from before you got to Washington Hebrew tonight, maybe how far you had to park, and where's the best place to get challah in the area? Come up with your answer, then at the Oneg, we're going to pepper her with responses, all right? So can we do this? Good, good, good. All right. My dad makes great challah.
I don't buy challah, I make my own. I make my own too, I'm not helpful.
You may have biased.
They're supposed to be biased.
beautiful. Can I say that when we come back? Okay, good. Good.
I support that. That sounds like the exact right answer.
Okay. Maybe we should just come back with music though, instead of me talking.
Like, if
I don't
didn't
think
make it, I don't have it at home. I just have whatever's in the unit.
Maybe we'll sing back. Should we sing back in, or talk?
Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
It'll be a long
All right, so we're going to bring it all back together. We're going to come pray together. I do want to make a very important announcement, and that is that the chalot that we are having tonight are actually the best chalot in Washington, D.C., because they are baked by our #1 senior rabbi, Sue Shankman. So have a little piece. Save some for everybody as we leave at the end of our service, but that's really special. So thank you.
Page 12.
page 20, we find the centerpiece of our Kabbalat Shabbat service, Lecha Dodi, and this acrostic poem is one that is recited each Shabbat as a way to welcome Shabbat in the way that we would welcome someone we love. It is a love song, a love poem really between the Jewish people and God. And each Shabbat we start with these words towards the beginning of our service, and we don't just sing this with our voices and with our souls, but our whole body. We rise by the end. In the last verse, we rise to greet Shabbat. And anyone else who happens to walk in the door at that moment will rise when we get to the last stanza. We'll turn and we'll face the door as we say, Bo'ik Hala, welcome Shabbat. We welcome Shabbat with these words and in a beautiful, beautiful setting that we're about to hear a little bit more and learn together. And just think about how at the end of a long week, we greet someone we love. The sense of taking that deep breath, which I invite you to all do right now, and letting it out, and feeling that comfort at being connected to someone we love and to the sense of Shabbat that we now welcome into our hearts.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so lovely to be with you and to sing with you. Thanks for opening up your prayer space, your holy space, your safe space, to learn some new stuff, to try some new things. I know that it's a vulnerable position, and I am grateful that you're trusting me to join your kehillah, your community this evening. Let's learn this refrain together. Do me a favor, wherever you're sitting, sit up straight, feet on the ground, deep breath in, slowly out. I'm gonna sing a line, and if you do me a favor and sing back in your most beautiful nation's capital voices, sounds like this. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Try that. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Beautiful. Listen. Pinei Shabbat nikabela. Pinei Shabbat nikabela. Beautiful. Third line, just like the first line. Listen one more time. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Try that. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Pinei Shabbat nikabela. Pinei Shabbat nikabela. So the beautiful thing about Lecha Dodi is, if you're like Spike, I really didn't get that. It was a little bit too fast. Well, we're not going to sing it once. We're not going to sing it twice. We're not going to sing it 3 times. We're like 4 or 5 times in. So I have faith, Washington Hebrew, that by the end you will be singing in your most beautiful voices. We'll do that refrain together, and we'll start right now. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pinei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pinei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibor echad. Hishmiyan בעצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה.
Standing as we turn to page 28 for our call to worship.
Sit, right? Not yet. Okay, so I'll be short. Moses stands on the mountain, not the mountain top, really, a different mountain. Speaks to the people. Soon he's going to leave them. The big Moses. And he's saying, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Listen, the people of Israel. We have one God, and it is Adonai. And I was always perplexed by this. This is kind of an odd thing to say. We already know that. We've been delivered out of Egypt. Why is he saying this? And I'm imagining the people there, and they have mixed emotions. Some of them already miss Egypt. Some of them are scared of the future. Some of them know they're going to miss Moses. Some of them are so excited that they're going to come into Israel soon. And I like to think of those words of Moses as a reassurance and a challenge at the same time. He's comforting us and saying, listen, we are in this together. We are one. And at the same very sentence, he's challenging us. Make sure that we are in this together, that we are one. And the way to becoming one is to be listening to each other. So as I join your beautiful community in this beautiful space, praying in English and Hebrew together, I want to add my own words of prayer. May our journey together be guided by the gentle and hidden voice of God, and may it be blessed with love, compassion, listening, and unity. As we recite the words of Shema Yisrael, let us be reminded of the importance of listening, of truly hearing the voices of others around us. For in doing so, we become better Jews, better human beings, and better partners in God's creation. We are one, and we need to make sure that we are one. Shabbat Shalom.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem continue on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We turn to page 40 for Micha Mocha for our prayer for freedom.
Baruch atah Adonai Ka Yisrael. Page 42.
don't know if any of you saw what I saw yesterday late in the day I was driving down the George Washington Parkway, but you might have seen it in some other part of the city. There was a glorious rainbow, and it was brilliant, and it was thick. It was, each stripe of that rainbow was incredible. And I was reminded of God's presence in the world and the beauty in the world and the peace that can exist in the world. And in thinking about that rainbow, which we know is a sign between God and the Jewish people, I was reminded of the prayer we come to next in our Siddur V'Shamru on page 44, which is like a rainbow for us each and every Shabbat. We don't need the reminder because we're already here, but it lifts us up. It reminds us that Shabbat is this moment. It is a sign. It is part of this covenant that we share with God. God has given us this gift each week of Shabbat, of this moment to take that deep breath in, to let it out, and to be at peace with ourselves and with the world. Sometimes we need a reminder that we need to do that. And in case we forget, V'Shamru is the prayer that calls us to do just that each and every week, to be in this covenant with God and with one another.
We're going to move into, into Amidah tonight a little bit differently, with alternative words from our tradition, which you can find in your prayer books on page 95 in the black numbers. As we take a moment, as we've reached this pinnacle moment of our service, to stop and reflect and focus and make sure we're really present, we're really here. Hineni, right here I am. That with these words we're ready to thank and to praise and to glorify and maybe to ask for stuff. I invite you to join with us. Hare. English, this interpretive version. With this prayer, I prepare. With this prayer, I prepare myself for thee. For strength, for praise, for the glory of every new day. All that breathe praises thee. If you're feeling ready for Amida, I invite you to join us. Back to page 48, and as you do, we'll invite you to please rise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Geula Libnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo V'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah V'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'Gevorot, U'Midam Elach, Melech Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
On Shabbat here at Washington Hebrew, and on Shabbat everywhere around the world, we decide that we've had enough tsuris. There's been enough hardship in the world. And there is also simcha. There's time for joy. There's time for celebration. There's time to celebrate what has happened in your lives from last week until this. And so if there has been a joy, a simcha, a celebration for you or for someone you love from last Friday night until tonight, raise a hand. I'd love to see it. Please, Madison. Been working on a book.
Terrific, and good luck. Terrific. Mazel tov. Yes, Magnolia. We have two things. You're going to a women's soccer game. And there's another one you said, yeah? Okay. The Washington, D.C. team versus San Diego. At school, they're working on books about bugs. They had a publishing party, and it's going to become a real book. Talk to Madison. She's also writing a book, okay? Can you do that? Terrific. Good. Let's get just a few more. Yes, please. Oh, terrific. Lee's daughter had a baby girl. Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. All the way in the back. I know what their simcha is going to be, please. Your son... These are my parents. My little brother got married. I was lucky enough to do their wedding. It's a joy. It's a joy. Yes, please, Anna. Fifth grade students have opening night for Aladdin. We're going to get one more over here, please, Adam and Katie. No way. Cassandra is 3. We've seen her grow up here. These are regulars at Washington Hebrew. And what a joy. 3 and many more to 120 and in good health, as they say. So for all of the joys, for all of the simchas, for all of the celebrations, repeat after me. Modim anachnu lach. Modim anachnu lach. How grateful are we all?
Well, Cassandra turned 3, and we actually remember she was our first pandemic baby in the congregation, which is crazy that she's already 3, how much we've all been through. But she's 3, so she's just had a birthday, and we know others of you have had a birthday, so I'm going to share some names of those of you who are celebrating birthdays. We want to invite you to come up for a birthday blessing, including Cassandra. So the names that are on the list, if you are here, please come and join us. And actually, we'll come down. And Lynn Borkin, Noah Cutler, David Deckelbaum, Jonathan Hurwitz, bar mitzvah next weekend, Carol Bindeman, Paige Rosenfeld, Sherry Stein, Jen Wolfsheimer, Cassandra. I know that Bruce Winston celebrated a big birthday this past weekend. So if you have a birthday in the month of May, so it's coming up or it just happened, come on and join us.
There should be 1 in 12, so statistically there are more.
Cassandra, come on over here. Careful on the stairs.
She just wants to come up on the bima. Can you falter for her?
Rabbi. Hi. There we go. Oh, love it. Oh, you get to say a blessing for your mom. Look at this. We are so honored to share this moment with all of you and your families, to share in the joy of the continued. Now I have to just get down because now I was feeling tall, and now I'm not. Me too. And it is so wonderful to share in the unfolding of life and the potential for the year ahead. We celebrate how much we've grown in just a few years, and even just in this past year, how much we've learned about ourselves and the blessings that each of you bring to the people who love you and to our congregation as well. So we're going to join in a blessing of Thanksgiving because later in our service, we're going to join in a priestly blessing with all of our children, and that one will be for you as well. But we simply say thank you to God for enabling us, allowing us to get to this moment and share in this. So we say, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, for giving these wonderful people life, for giving all of us life, for sustaining us through COVID and everything else, and for enabling us to reach this moment, to share in this joy together, to which we all say, Amen. And happy birthday, and mazel tov. Wish each other happy birthday.
Yom Holedet Sameach, Yom Holedet Sameach, Yom Holedet Sameach, Yom Holedet Sameach.
Oh, he's over there. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you guys. Happy birthday. Thanks so much.
Mazel tov. So we know that there is the joy of birthdays, there's the joy of special moments, and there's also, we know, we hold always the joy and the challenge, moments of challenge in our lives. And we pray each Shabbat for not only for, we don't only thank God, but we also pray on behalf of those we love. We ask God for wholeness and healing for those who are in need. And so we're going to take a moment to think about those in our lives who are in need of healing, whether of body, of mind, or spirit. And I'm going to share a few names on behalf of the congregation, but I also invite you to share the names of those in your life who could use a little extra strength, a little extra prayer. There is a Jewish teaching in the Talmud that says that if we visit someone who's ill, someone who's in need of healing and wholeness, that we take away, when we leave, we take with us 1/60th of that illness. And if it were only so easy that all we could do is just take 60 people to go visit each person who's in need of healing, we know we would do that in a heartbeat. But we also recognize that the power of prayer, the power of knowing that a community is supporting you in a time, in a moment of need, can really be part of what lifts our spirits and enables us to overcome those challenges, again, of whatever type we might be feeling or experiencing. So we think this evening of Serlene Rose, of Mary Solander, of Joanne Lamb, and I invite you to add names of those in your life. You may say them aloud. You may also keep them privately to yourself. If you're joining us on the live stream, we invite you to share names aloud, but also to follow up with us. And if you're sitting in the congregation, we invite you to follow up with us to make sure we heard the name correctly so that we can also reach out to those in our community who are in need. So I invite you to share names of those who are in need of healing.
Levi Taylor.
We hold all these names in our hearts. We say, Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. We praise you, O God, healer of the sick. We join together on page 253 with a Mishaberach, a prayer for healing.
Help us find
there's a story that's told of a person who was lost in the forest and walked around for hours and could not find a path that would lead them out of the forest, and wandered for hours and hours hoping to find another person who might be able to help them, and finally chanced upon another person coming from the opposite direction and said, please, I've been lost, I've been wandering for hours, I can't find my way out of the forest. Please, I beg of you, please help me. You must know the way out, you're coming from the other direction, and please, just show me, I have to, I've been here, I really am starting to get a little bit frightened and worried and need to find my way back home. Can you help me, please? And this other person who had just come from the opposite direction said, my friend, I too am lost, and I can tell you this, do not go that way, because that will not lead you out of the forest. But let's join hands and walk together, and together we'll find our path, and we'll find our way out and back to our family and our community. And I am struck by the words that Rabbi Nama shared with us this evening about those words of Shema, about that sense of unity and connection that we have to one another. And as we take this time together, our voices join in prayer, listening to the voices of the people surrounding us. We might not have known each other when we came in, but our voices are now familiar. And yes, there may be someone sitting next to us whose voice we've heard our entire lives. But there are also new voices that become part of ours, and we become connected to one another. And we also recognize that as important as those voices are joined together, in order for those voices to join together, we need to find ourselves first. And so we take a few moments now to turn from our communal prayers, from our fixed liturgy, to find those prayers that only each one of us have in our hearts. And so we take a few moments now for silent prayer.
Yehiu leratzon imrefi, vehegion libi lefanecha. Yehiu leratzon imrefi, vehegion libi lefanecha. Adonai, Tsuri vego ali, Adonai, Tsuri vego
This evening we've been listening to the words not only of our own mouths, but certainly to Jacob, Spike Kraus. He prefers to be called Spike, so I don't want anyone to think that when I call him Spike, that's what he goes by. And you've been hearing his voice, but I want to tell you a little bit more about him before you hear a little bit more from him. Spike is a singer-songwriter, educator, and innovator, originally from Boston and now based just outside of New York City. Spike has been performing for 2 decades at synagogues, Jewish day schools, and summer camps. Having just finished 3 years as the artist in residence at Temple Israel of West Bloomfield, Michigan, Spike now tours Jewish communities across the country as a performer, teacher, composer, and consultant. Spike graduated from Muhlenberg College in the spring of 2013 with a degree in music. He released his first album, Shake Off the Dust, 1 year later. His next release, Cornerstones, in 2017, introduced a contemporary style to Spike's sound. With the release of his project, Light Up the Night, in 2019, Spike introduced a new sound to Hanukkah music as we know it. His music is eclectic, drawing on influences from major pop, rock, and folk artists of the last 60 years, as well as jazz and classical traditions. The son of a rabbi and the product of Jewish school and summer camp, actually my own summer camp, Eisner Camp, where Rabbi Fischel, where Lou Weiner also have spent many years, as well as some of you who are here with us. Spike brings more than musicality to his work. His intimate knowledge of the Hebrew language, Jewish texts, and culture adds depth to his songs and authenticity to his role as a Jewish music educator. Spike's Jewish knowledge and dedication to musical excellence meet in his infectious energy, which we have already experienced, and the palpable joy he finds in his work. And we're so happy to have you here with us, not just to share your beautiful music, but even more your beautiful neshama. So thank you, Spike.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I don't think I've ever had my full bio read from the Bima before. It just kind of like adds to the pressure a little bit. But I do love to get an opportunity to preach a little bit, to give a sermon in song from the Bima, and typically I will ask clergy on my way, hey, is it okay if I take over this slot? And typically the rabbis and the cantors will be like, please, we get the week off. We don't have to talk about the Torah portion. Which makes sense at this time of year because we're in Leviticus, right? Which is, as your clergy will tell you, on the drier side of Torah stuff. It's a lot of laws. In fact, this week's Torah portion, which is Parshat Emor, has 63 of the 613 commandments just inside. It's like probably, if not the most, one of the top 5 densest, like do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this, don't do that, probably don't do that, definitely do this in the whole Torah. And so I initially looked at it and was like, oh boy, what did I get myself into? Deceptively full of stuff to teach us, Parshat Emor, and as I found out when I got here, really fortuitous that it's happening on this Shabbat here at Washington Hebrew, and I'll explain why. So you get to the end of Parshat Emor, and you have one of only 2 narratives in the whole book. Remember we talked about how it's dry, it's a lot of do this and don't do that. There's only 2 narratives, like stories, in the whole of the book of Leviticus. One of them happens at the end of this portion, and it reminds us that we got to watch what we say and speak with intention and respect. In the beginning of the portion, we get a whole bunch of laws for the Kohanim, for the priests in the desert, one of which is that the priests are not allowed to come into contact with the dead bodies because it makes them tameh, it makes them impure, except that God makes an exception for immediate family, siblings, children, spouses. The rabbis added spouses later. Which is fascinating because like 3 weeks ago, we read the only other narrative in the book of Leviticus, which is where Aaron's children die. And actually, God and Moses say, you're not allowed to touch them, you're not allowed to mourn them. And so what I get here, 3 weeks later, is actually the possibility that even God can learn from past actions and from mistakes and build and grow and evolve. It's another lesson from this week's Torah portion. But that's not even where I want to focus, because in the middle of the Torah portion, is where we get God talking about how do we sanctify time? How do we make time holy? And so it starts with a description, a commandment-heavy description of God's festivals, right? We have the description of Passover. So on the first day of Passover, you're not allowed to do any work, and you're not allowed to eat bread. Thank you very much. And on Yom Kippur, you're not allowed to do any work, and you're not allowed to eat anything. Right, amazing. You didn't know you were going to get tested today. 5th grade, this is going to be on your report cards. And so we get these like specific sanctified moments: Pesach, Shavuot, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. And then, in the middle, is this weird thing where God says, hey, listen. You know that holiday, Passover, and then you have that holiday, Shavuot. So those are really important. And also, by the way, the 7 weeks in between, you're also going to sanctify those. Those also very holy. This is where we get the commandment for the Omer, for counting the Omer, starting on the second night of Passover, 50 days all the way to Shavuot. But there's like nothing really going on. It's not like sanctifying a festival specifically, right? So what's the deal? Why, in this week's Torah portion, are we commanded, hey, you actually have to sanctify not just Passover and not just Shavuot, but the 7 weeks in between? The rabbis suggest that it's to link the two holidays, right? Because on Passover, we're celebrating our redemption from slavery and our freedom. And the rabbis suggest that just celebrating that freedom and that redemption in and of itself is not enough, but it has to be linked to the revelation at Mount Sinai and that this kind of revealing of, hey, you're the Jewish people, we're the Jewish people, you're my people, I'm your God, you're my people, I've got you, you've got me, here are the 10 commandments, that culmination of those weeks, of those days of that time in the desert is worthy of sanctifying. It is not just about the beginning and the end, but it's about the journey that takes place throughout. Our Torah portion teaches us that the journey is equally as important as what happens at the end. And so how fortuitous is it that on this Shabbat Emor, here at Washington Hebrew, I walked into the sanctuary and found out that we are celebrating a heck of a lot of journeys happening. Our 5th grade is here getting ready for Bar and Bat Mitzvah. Our 12 questions are here re-engaging with their Judaism. Our new members are here finding a community. Rabbi Miller talked to us about our simchas and all the things that we're celebrating: weddings, birthdays, novels, right? All of this great stuff. These milestone moments on our journey. So we are, I don't know exact day. We're in the middle of the Omer. Lag BaOmer is on like Tuesday. So I want to say we're at like 28, 29-ish. We're about halfway.
30. I think we're on 30.
Okay, I was pretty close. Which means you have about half of the Omer left to start to think about these journeys that you're on and the milestone moments that you reach along the way, that we reach together as we go from strength to strength. The Hebrew is mechayil el chayil, as we go from strength to strength together with our community. And so I would like to offer this blessing to you as a re-inspiration. If you maybe haven't focused on the first 30 days of the Omer, as you still have about 3 weeks left to figure out this journey that you're on and recognize these milestones, these momentous moments that we reach together. May you go from strength to strength as you start this brand new chapter. May your days be filled with laughter, your nights be filled with peace. May you learn to sing a brand new song with those who join to sing along. These are the links that make you strong in your community. Chazak, Chazak, L'chayil el chayil nitchazek. Chazak, Chazak, L'chayil el chayil nitchazek. May you live to see the dawning of 1,000 new beginnings. Hear 1,000 angels singing, set 1,000 worries free. May you come to know that life moves fast. You don't slow down, it goes right past. So cling to those who make it last. That's your community. Chazak, Chazak, Michayil el Chayil nitchazek. Chazak, Chazak, Michayil el Chayil nitchazek. May your heart be filled with wonder as you carry on your journey. May you never lose that yearning for the road that lies ahead. And even though that rocky road goes sometimes high and sometimes low, just know no matter where you go, we're your community. You sing back to me, please. Chazak, 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 Michayil el Chayil nitchazek. I sing Chazak, you sing Chazak. Chazak, 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 Michayil el Chayil nitchazek. Shecheanu v'kiyamanu v'hikianu lazman hazeh. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. With these holy words of Torah on our lips and in our ears, we rise and turn to page 282 for Aleinu. Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamolam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל
we turn in our service to our moment of memory on page 290. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch, a fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing to love what death has touched. And so this evening our congregation remembers the yahrzeits, the holy anniversaries of the passing of Stanford Abel, Maury Charles Abraham, Leona Adler, Sana Babkus, Alphonse M. Baer, Lena Bernstein, Roger Butner, Donald L. Brown, Ethel P. Bullman, Claire Bryofsky, Isaac D. Kaplan, Addie Moser Cohen, Molly Porter Cohen, Luann Jacobs Deckelbaum, Morris W. Dove, Jewel F. Duberstein, Hilda Edlovich, Charlotte Fox, Leroy P. Friedlander, Frida Sarah Goldman, Charles Greenberg, Lillian Greenwald, Herman A. Gumanek, Corian Eve Gutman, Betty Heckinger, Lawrence Herman, Alfred Jaffe, Albert Kafka, Albert E. Kane, Robert Kaplan, Dina Elizabeth Kaplan, Max Katz, Norton N. Katz, Sylvan King, Sadie P. Coningsberg, Alan Jerome Krasner, Julius Juju Levin, Rena Natalie Levy, Arthur J. Londa, Frank J. Lux, Joseph Lux, Sadie Marenberg, Mike Kirubane, Heinemann Michaelis, Harriet A. Myers, Maxine Rosenblatt Nanis, Carrie Ottinger, Mary Oshinsky, Miriam B. Ostro, Thelma S. Paul, Elise C. Pearl, Michelle Stephanie Pinchuk, Zachary Philip Pleat, Sally S. Porter, Mary Rakusin, Sonia S. Rappaport, Gustav Ring, James E. Rosenthal, Faye F. Rothbart, Samuel F. Roth, Maxine R. Rubenstein, Hermine Wittgenstein Samberg, Helen Spiegel Sachs, Harry B. Schiffman, Henrietta A. Schwartz, Rena Siegel, Harry Sherby, Rosalind D. Silverman, Janet Sims, Nathan Sinrod, Lisa Sandler Spaeth, Joseph C. Swindler, Henrietta Tabor, Essie Solomon Wittenstein, Morris Zucker, Branka Zweig, Hannah Zweig, Elka Zweig, Sala Zweig, Yitzchak Zweig, and Michael D. Schumann. To those names, we remember also those laid to rest in more recent days. Robert Feldman, Gloria Malkin Stempler, Lidolf Baer, David A. Balin, Richard Levick, Beth Shatsky, Murray Stein, Melvin Greenblatt, Joel Feigenheimer, Martin Abrams, and Irving Mises. To those names, if there is a name that I accidentally mispronounced or a name that was not shared this evening, as I look around the room, I invite you to share their name with us as my eyes meet yours. We continue as we rise on page 294 for Kadisha Tome. Please rise. Yitgadal Yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alad Yirach Rutei Yalmich Malchutei, V'chayechon V'yomechon U'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael, V'agala U'bizman Kari V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam U'lamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kusha v'richu ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'miran ve'elma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we together say, Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Please be seated.
At this time, we invite forward Lou Wiener, who is president of Washington Hebrew Congregation, to share in our Kiddush Cup presentation and some thoughts and announcements for this week.
Shabbat Shalom
Shabbat Shalom.
to the Winston and the Hurwitz families. We want to wish a hearty mazel tov on the B'nai Mitzvah children. Please join me in wishing that mazel tov to the families. As we have seen tonight, this is a house of prayer. This is a house of spirituality. This is a house of learning. This is a house of healing. This is a house of community. But most importantly, this is a house of joy. And we have shared the joy of Shabbat tonight. And as we look forward to the future, there are so many opportunities for us to share in the joy that it means to be part of the Washington Hebrew congregation. This Sunday, we have our final Amram lecture. We have author Sharona Hoffman, who will be here. Rabbi Nama will be here. Please join us starting at 9:30 for brunch, where we can share the community of being together, followed by our Amram series. Next Friday is a historic day for our congregation, as we will install Senior Rabbi Sue Shankman as the 7th senior rabbi in our 170-year history. What a historic, monumental day this is for our entire community. The joy continues as we look forward. June 2nd, our Pride Shabbat. June 16th, our Juneteenth Shabbat. These are opportunities for us to come together in this house and share our community, to experience the glorious nature of our diversity, which makes us so strong. Let's share these events together. I'd like to call Layla and Jonathan up to the bima. You know, for most of us, tomorrow is Saturday. For these young people, tomorrow is their future. We're here to celebrate that future with them as we join together in Kiddush. I'd like to invite all of the children in our community to join us on the bima as we celebrate Kiddush together. As they are coming up, I'd also like to invite Evan Winston, a member of our board, and Layla's father to join us. These Kiddush cups represent the bridging of our past and our future. These Kiddush cups are presented in the name of Cami Lauren Nathanson, a member of our congregation long ago, whose families have set up a fund that we can present these Kiddush cups to our B'nai Mitzvah students. Roughly 5,000 of them have been presented over the years. But tonight, these are the most special ones we present. You guys know why? Because these are yours. And we hope that when you use these Kiddush cups, you will always think of and remember Washington Hebrew congregation as we become and hopefully will stay part of your future.
Vayhi Erev, Vayhi Voker, Yom Hashishi. And there was evening, and there was morning, the 6th day. The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'rei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us. Sanctify us with mitzvot in love and favor. You made the Holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our scared days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You choose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us holy, holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen. And we join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'tanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Kids, stick around up here. Stick around while you take this.
Challah?
Are we doing the blessing first?
Whichever.
All right.
So,
Kids, try to find a space under the tallis if
Yumaya.
you can.
I think yep, here she comes in her beautiful blue dress, little sparkle, and a couple challahs accompanying her. And everybody get underneath. I'm sort of underneath here. Great spots here. Here, there you go.
Close your minder now if you want to.
Just want to close that. Close that. Yep. 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 You got it. We're gonna do a blessing, and then we're gonna do another blessing. So we're gonna start. You Maya, can you come right underneath this tallis? Can you come with the other kids? And you're gonna help me in a
Snuggling
second.
close.
Just a little bit closer, so you're underneath. There we go. We ask God's blessing upon all of these beautiful faces and beautiful people, and we say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yechoneka. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious and kind to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God show God's face to you, and may God bless you with the greatest blessing of all, of wholeness and of peace. And we say together, Amen.
Amen. Now. Thank you. Ooh. And can you all help lead us all in the blessing?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Our service is about to conclude. 12 Jewish questions. Stay in the sanctuary. We're going to walk together for dinner.
And the 5th grade, we're going to go downstairs to Oxman for our dinner. And we join together in our concluding song, Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom Yiroma. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu.
watching, stick around.